Hey guys, okay, here we are. One moment. Let me get rid of this quickly. Uh, okay. So I think this is very important. I apologize for, oh boy, for not, let me make this on, for not doing updates. I have been traveling and then just had some personal issues to deal with. Um, okay. So I've made a lot of different videos and I know like to political people, to strategists, to Conservative Inc. And Conservative Inc. would be people like um, Dan Bongino. And why the fuck does Dan Bongino still have a show on Rumble? Why the fuck does that skank Kimberly Guilfoyle still have a show on Rumble if she's supposed to be in Greece? These people are why Trump picked them, I have no idea. The second I heard Marco Rubio was going to be Secretary of State, this is after the election, after I went out of my way to vote, and all kinds of bullshit to get that vote done. In the pouring rain, pretty much the same kind of weather we're having now. Windy, raining, and 30 degrees. And it's normally 60 degrees and nice out this time of year. But these 25-degree or mile per hour winds coming while I'm on crutches trying to, and snow and all this shit at the end of March, that's bullshit. That's not something in the past. And I've looked up the history of weather patterns here. That, which brings me to this shit. And so stop the geoengineering, Trump. But that's not going to happen because Conservative Inc. And if I would, this is what I was going to say. If I would have known Marco Rubio was going to be placed as Secretary of State, I never, ever, ever would have voted for Trump because that would have meant the Anthony Blinken war policy would have continued. Now, I did have some hope and I never, this Pete Hegseth dude, I didn't have an opinion on him. I didn't think the sexual crap was anything to get in 2025 anyway. And I don't think he was married at the time. His wife right now is really homely. I mean, I don't know what the hell he's doing with her, but I'm just going to be really blunt right now. She's ugly. As many women are today. I saw her over in Germany or Paris or something, and she looked sloppy, ugly, and like she never washed her hair. Unbelievable. And this Hegseth dude, he's in excellent shape. He's good looking, but I don't trust him worth a shit, and he needs to go. I mean, something needs to happen. So Marco Rubio as Secretary of State, I'm like, what the fuck? But suddenly I see light at the end of the tunnel, i.e. the meetings, plural, between Macron and Trump, Starmer and Trump, and that little PRICK from Ukrainia, I'll call it. I'll just go right back to Soviet era, right? So I thought, and I thought that Vance was doing good. And I was just like, okay, this kicks ass. And I'm like, this is why I voted for him. And suddenly the people reined his controllers, took control and reined him in. Because I was hoping and I was thinking that we could get on to concentrating on domestic issues, which really need attention right now, and just dump Ukraine and the little man. And I will tell you, I'm really super ticked off because you guys, anyone that knows me and knows this channel, I would say something like, there was an article about Zelensky that came up. Okay. And I commented on it. I said he needs okay, so back in the 60s, for example, and my brother is older than me, okay, even though he looks younger, especially now while I'm hobbling around like a cripple. And he kept getting, even though he's really tall and always was into sports and shit, like always. And boy, he was a popular, nice guy. But the guys and there were mostly guys on the block. And I say block not being, meaning it was a long city block that went around, and I'm talking 40 houses. If you go down like several blocks, okay. So on ours, maybe 30, and then maybe, then okay, it doesn't matter. But we had all shared an alley, and everyone was responsible for taking care of their part of the alley. And what ended up happening would be everyone would chip in and get, all the families knew each other because we would run through the yards. We didn't have fences. A few people did, but we would run through each other's yards. We were all the same age. Well, there were only a few girls, mostly men. And my brother kept getting beaten up. So my dad, being the Marine he is, sat him down and taught him what to do, if that would ever happen again. And my brother took each one of them on one by one and wiped them out, and they're still friends now. So I was kind of going back to like Northwest Side Milwaukee, 60s, 70s. I said he needs his ASS kicked. He needs a good spanking. He needs to be spanked. He needs to be disciplined. He behaves like a spoiled brat. And for that, I was suspended on Twitter for a week. So as far as Elon Musk is concerned and free speech and all that, if someone, and then I, appealed it. I said, this is a joke. He needs a good booty kicking to put him, he needs to just be put in his place. Oh, you're violent. That's violence. We don't condone violence against others. I'm like, violence? I'm like, how? So that's what I think of X. So let's get on to this story here. Pete Hegseth torched. Yeah, this is unacceptable. You can take the American flag hanky out of your suit. As journalists mistakenly added to top secret group text revealing Trump's war plans, makes a stunning claim. Now, I don't really know what happened with this thing. Okay. I saw a different article earlier, but we can go over this because I think it's the same thing. I think everybody knows about this now. There were a series of text messages put out between, well, let's read it. Different people that are supposed to be under Trump's direction. And Trump wasn't included on it, and they bombed Yemen, I believe. I mean, I don't know. They're bombing all over the place. I just, at this point, it's like, fuck it, right? Oops, I spilled something. It's Anthony Blinken's policy. So it's Barack Obama. Barack Obama did George W. Bush on steroids, in case you're wondering. And please don't deny that. I guess he bombed that area, Barack, 1,000 times. It was Scott Ritter, someone. Okay. Journalist added to a group chat. How? Are these people all on drugs and drinking and shit? Involving several of Donald Trump's most important cabinet members discussing more plans as he shot back at Pete Hegseth's blistering denial of the story. So now it's a denial? They're going to pretend it didn't happen? So this is how we're going to deal with this? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, made a jaw-dropping revelation on Monday when he found himself added to a conversation on Signal, an encrypted messaging app. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, who is this guy anyway, started the chat which, hang on a minute, hang on. Which included users identified as Vice President Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Why, God? Why? Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, a CIA representative, oh great, Trump advisor Stephen Miller, and White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles. Oh, this is just bad. Hang on a minute. I mean, this is just bad. I don't know what to believe, but the press is going to make us believe it never happened. But I'm pretty sure it did. Like right now, I'd bet 100% that it did. And the fact that they're trying to make it look like it didn't, and anybody that says it didn't happen is full of shit. Because look at who we've got there. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't think I am. See this, now I'm questioning myself. Goldberg spoke to CNN Monday night. CNN. That's run by the... Okay. Revealing how the chat included attack plans, locations, and identities of targets, and the sequence of strikes against the Houthis, which showed Hegseth's denial of the story was a lie. Ugh. No, that's a lie. He was texting war plans. He was texting attack plans when targets were gonna, I love this, gonna. Can we get our grammar back, please? Be targeted. How they were gonna be targeted. What? Who was at the targets and the next sequence of attacks were happening? He said, Hegseth. The defense secretary, he's a loose cannon. A loose cannon who drinks too much. I'm sure they all do. The defense secretary, appearing for the first time since the story was published after a flight to Hawaii. What the fuck is he doing in Hawaii? Lashed out at Goldberg, similar to how President Donald Trump slammed his magazine. So you are talking about a deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist who has made a profession of peddling hoaxes time and time again. He cited various stories The Atlantic has run on Trump's alleged connections to Russia, his very fine people comments after the Charlottesville riots have been taken out of context, and the alleged suckers and losers comments on soldiers killed in war. This is how they're dealing with this thing. So who's this broad? Is he on Anderson Blooper's show? I don't know about this. I mean, I believe it's possible, but now the press is planting a story to make me question that. But guess what? No, I think it did happen. This is a guy who peddles in garbage. Okay, that's what he does. Wow. Hegseth added. He praised American troops fighting the Houthis in Yemen. We've got troops over there dying for this shit. And criticized the Biden administration for their own performance. Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Oh, we love our troops. Joe Biden sucks. A reporter asked Hegseth, why were those denials shared on Signal? Excuse me, hang on a minute. I'm sorry, I keep having to cough and stuff. Hegseth replied, I've heard how it was characterized. Nobody was texting war plans, and that's all I have to say about it. No, I read something different earlier, but let's keep going. When reached for comment, a spokesman for the Pentagon told the Daily Mail, we do not have anything to offer beyond the secretary's remark. Goldberg added there was more he didn't publish because it was too consequential, too technical, and I worry that sharing that information in public would be harmful to American military personnel. Really? He set the scene that he was sitting in a supermarket parking lot. I heard he just pulled off to the side of the road, but same thing, watching the chat unfold. They were running a war plan on a messaging app and didn't even know who was in the conversation. It's an obvious, ridiculous security breach. And if you notice, he didn't actually answer the question.
Your information about war plans against the Houthis in Yemen was shared with a journalist in The Atlantic.
Let me get my volume up so we can hear it. What did I do? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I picked the wrong button here. Oh, for God's sake. For Pete's sake. I'm sorry. Well, I mean, it's just really negative. Yeah, this guy looks like an asshole, too. Here we go. Pete looks totally stressed. As he should. And there's the baby he's probably doing on the side now. Where was the video? Okay, here.
Your information about war plans against the Houthis in Yemen was shared with a journalist in The Atlantic. And were those details classified?
Here we go.
So you're talking about a deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist who's made a profession of peddling hoaxes time and time again, to include the I don't know, the hoaxes of Russia, 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 or the fine people on both sides hoax, or suckers and losers hoax. So this is the guy that peddles in garbage. This is what he does. I would love to comment on the Houthi campaign because of the skill and courage of our troops. I've monitored it very closely.
I don't believe him. Oh, let's go back. I hate this app.
It's called Little Salmon Bay. So
Let's go back. Well, we can't now.
it's called Little Salmon Bay. So we decide, right, let's have a break here.
Okay. Okay. Let's try to get it back then. And I apologize again.
Your information about war plans against the Houthis in Yemen was shared with a journalist in The Atlantic. And were those details classified?
You're talking about a deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist who's made a profession of peddling hoaxes time and time again, to include the hoaxes of Russia, 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 or the fine people on both sides hoax, or suckers and losers hoax. So this is the guy that peddles in garbage. This is what he does.
All right. Now, could I just say the way he's reacting right now is unstatesmanlike and unprofessional. He's way too emotional. And I don't think he's the right person for the job right now. Also, I don't understand not washing the hair. And I just long for the days of real statesmen in this country. I think that things are not going to be very good for the next 4 years. Let's continue.
I would love to comment on the Houthi campaign because of the skill and courage of our troops. I've monitored it very closely.
He's lying.
From the beginning.
Is he lying?
And you see, we've been managing 4 years of deferred maintenance under the Trump administration. Our troops, our sailors were getting shot at as targets.
You know what? To my knowledge, that is not true. We need to get back to those texts. I thought this would include it.
Our ships couldn't sail through.
That's not
And when
true.
they did shoot back, it was purely defensively or at shacks in Yemen. President Trump said, no more.
Nope.
We will reestablish deterrence. We will open freedom of navigation, and we will ultimately decimate the Houthis, which is exactly what we're doing as we speak from the beginning, overwhelmingly.
Nope.
Why were those details shared on Signal, and how did you learn that a journalist was privy to the targets, the types of weapons used? And
I've heard I was characterized. Nobody was texting war plans, and that's all I have to say about that. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. I really don't like.
It's called Little Salmon Bay. So we decide, right, let's have a break here, pull out the snorkel.
I mean, I don't really care for how it jumps to another story like that. I think that Pete could have handled that much better. Okay. So that's not really what's going on. That's another thing. Okay, JD Vance. If you think we should do it, let's go. I just hate bailing Europe out again. What would we be doing bailing out Europe for? Let's just make sure our messaging is tight here. And if there are things we can do up front To minimize risk to Saudi oil facilities, we should do it. I fully share your loathing of European freeloading. It's pathetic. But Mike is correct. We are the only ones on the planet on our side of the ledger who can do this. Nobody else even close. Question is timing. I feel like now is as good as a time as any. Given POTUS directive to reopen shipping lanes, I think we should go, but POTUS still retains 24 hours of decision space. As I heard of the president was clear green light, but we should soon make clear to Egypt and Europe what we expect in return. We also need to figure. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this. I'm not going to really say anything more because now I need to probably go a little bit further on this. And this is a bad video. Honestly, I'm just very unhappy with everything right now. I mean, you've got a bunch of Gen Xers in there, millennials, just fucking up. Trump, he's a boomer. He's like the first kind of wave of boomers. Okay. You know what? Reading this is just making me sick. Okay, so right here. So I'm not necessarily, I'm not a big fan of Glenn Greenwald just because I find him just a little, But
Trump about this story, and Trump denied all knowledge of it. Here's what he said.
Your reaction to the story in The Atlantic that said that some of your top cabinet officials and aides had been discussing very sensitive material through Signal and included an Atlantic reporter for that. What is your response to that?
I don't know anything about it. I'm not a big fan of The Atlantic. To me, it's a magazine that's going out of business. I think it's not much of a magazine, but I know nothing about it. You're saying that they had what?
They were using Signal to coordinate on sensitive materials and
Having to do with what? Having to do with what? What were they talking about?
With the Houthis.
The Houthis? You mean the attack on the Houthis? Correct. Well, it couldn't have been very...
the Houthis did not attack us. But that's what they're telling us now. Wow, I'm really seeing things right now for what they are. Let's see how the search engines are. I'm sure they're cleaned up. No, the Houthis did not attack a U.S. something or another. They claim to have attacked a U.S. carrier, TASS. Yeah, you know what? I'm not believing the Trump team on this one. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Well, this is back in June of 2024. I've noticed that the searches are getting worse and worse. I've bookmarked a lot, thank God, but a lot of those articles are gone. So they, the globalists, the elites, they are going to push a war, make Trump go to war. And they are going to have a nice, bright, shiny bow on the reason why. And people are going to fall for it. And I began to listen to some different geopolitical podcasts that have opened my eyes. And I'm just kind of in shock at all this stuff. I'm kind of bummed out. After, Musk, for me saying a negative spiel about, I've been on Twitter since 2009. I keep getting my account deleted and brought back and blah, blah, blah. And I mean, this is ridiculous. And it's in the algorithm because it happens, like I'll hit enter, the enter key to post, and it'll go boom right away. It pops back. Ass kicking pops back. Ass kicking? Good God, I have an entire playlist on YouTube called Kick Ass 70s. I'm not allowed to say kick ass anymore? Well, I suppose if it's, oh my God. I mean, we are like being played, you guys. I mean, we seriously are being played. Seriously are. And Trump, there is an infection within the Trump cabinet. There's an infection. And this happened to me back in 2017 too. I noticed this shit right after, he got into office, and I'm like, yeah, I don't like this. He ended up firing everyone I didn't like. Bannon, Reince Priebus, Nikki Haley. So, I mean, I think we have problems, guys. I think we have problems. I think, and this is no offense to my friends over in the United Kingdom, which I will never go to again. Unfortunately, I guess it's sort of like never say never. I might, maybe, but I've already done it 7 times. That's enough. I did have a great time, but no, I really, why? Because I dislike Keir Starmer that much. I'm kind of bummed out at my mom too, because we had, she's got dementia, but we can't get it. My brother and I can't get anyone to diagnose it. And he's coming back from Arizona on Wednesday. And I mean, it's just like I'm on crutches, and the expectations of my family on me are so fucking high. It is like unbelievable. It's like, okay, it's snowing out. It's 25-mile-an-hour winds with 20 degrees off the lake. And, and you know what? I have zipped my lip and not said, are you guys crazy? How much do you want? I mean, you want me to kill myself again? I mean, I tell you, I have done more crap and just out of duty as a daughter and a sister and all that shit, wife, whatever, you know. I mean, honestly, it's, I hope God is watching somewhere. And then also on the Some Girls channel, I suppose I could post this there. I don't even give a shit. I'm going to be putting all my videos on private because I have soon, just to let you know, my channel hasn't been taken down. It's just I have some videos I need to share with some legal people that I need to just put on Untitled and share it with them. And I don't want the rest of my channel up there. And I'm just so furious right now, you know, with the way I've been treated and the very, very, very negative and stressful situation that I have personally. Just an absolute fucking mess to keep my shit together. Let's see. I mean, we go back to years and years ago. This shit's been going on for a couple of years. All right, let's do this. How many times did Obama attack Yemen? Yeah, the guy wins the Nobel Peace Prize. He bombed 7 countries. I think it was more than that. U.S. bombed Al-Qaeda in Yemen in 1 week. What? Yeah, Obama, I guess 1,000 times. I think I heard Scott Ritter say that or something. I mean, it wasn't a lightweight. So we have some problems, I think. Hegseth, I think might need to go. Here, let's see. Breaking news. Kimberly Guilfoyle? What is this shit? All right. Oh my God. Well, wow, okay, so so Sean Duffy, he's from Wisconsin. He's from Middle State. I don't like him. Frankly, I don't like anyone at the moment. I mean, any of these people that I'm speaking of. He's launching an investigation after a DailyMail.com report blew the lid off an air traffic controller cheating scandal. Huh. What the hell does that mean? When was this? Oh, it was like 10 days ago. Uh, okay. I thought it was recent. Yeah, he's looking stressed too. I just don't think the millennials and the Gen Xers are, I think they're very irresponsible. I really do. If they could get just some late boomers in there, I think it would be better. This Duffy, Sean Duffy was a Ted Cruz guy when he was in Congress. He never supported Trump. He never, like when Trump was doing shit at rallies and stuff at the airport right in central Wisconsin, he was nowhere to be seen. He refused to stand up and support him, as did even Ron Johnson at the time. So I don't know why he decided to embrace him as transportation secretary, or how a former MTV star is qualified for that. Neither was the last one. It just all is, I think, is quite negative. His cabinet, when I saw that pic, I mean, okay, so they want to drop DEI hiring. Okay.
Washington Suburban Associate members, brothers and sisters, listen. It's been a really busy time for me these past 4 days. I know that each of you are eager, very eager, to apply for this job vacancy announcement. And trust, after tonight, you will be able to do so. I am asking that you give me another 15 or 16 hours. Allow me to go to work and come home, provide you with an email that will be extremely crucial in the opening stages of this hiring process. There are some valuable pieces of information that I have taken a screenshot of, and I'm going to send that to you via email. Trust and believe it will be something that you will appreciate to the utmost. Keep in mind, we are trying to maximize your opportunities, and I'm doing the very best that I can with the time.
Oh, fuck these people. I can't stand how bad they are. Well, I mean, our country's like really fucked. So, okay.